How's it going, guys? Warborne Above Ashes is almost a week into its launch phase for the very first season. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you figure out how to progress your character so that when you go to war or you're doing faction with your, if you're doing content with your faction or your guild, you're not useless. You want to be as prepared as possible so that when you're in combat and PvP, you're not at a severe disadvantage just because you don't understand all of the systems. So I'm going to go through them one by one for specifically character progression in this video. So stay tuned. The very first thing that you're going to want to do when you get into the game is you're going to want to follow your main quest lines. In chapter 1, it's successfully land. Just start the game. Literally, you get rewarded for that. You're going to collect Starfall tokens and you're going to repair the drift mark on the tutorial island. Go through these missions as if you were doing them line by line so that you can progress to get to the highest chapter that you can get to before you're stuck because of research. This is a great onboarding tool, to on-ramp yourself into the game. This is going to last for the entire season for you doing content, and it will sort of give you a rough guide for what you should be doing as far as like progression, but it is not complete. It will help. Very specifically in character progression, one of the earliest things that I want you to pay attention to are your attributes. These are going to come up more often than almost anything else that you do in the game. There are 3 different categories of attribute in Warborne. There are strength characters, there are agility-based characters, and there are intelligence-based characters. Not all of the characters need to be built this way, but just know that it is purposely tailored to a certain style of play. For example, if you want to be a healer, Selen's one of the first characters that I would recommend that you get. She's available generally very early in the season cycle. Her stat scaling here, so she gets 1 point of strength per level for strength, 1.1 points of agility per level, and 2 points of intelligence per level. And you can see what those stats do if you mouse over them. I'm not going to get too in depth with that, but just know that if you're healing, you're going to put all of your stats into int, basically, like more than 90%. If you're doing any kind of attack-based physical type damage, you're going to put all your points into agility. And if you're tanking, you're going to put all of your points into strength. And again, intelligence doubles up for magic damage also, so that's both for healing and for casting, excuse me. As long as you're dumping all of your points into your main stat, your character's going to be as well equipped as it could be for the level that you're at. Now, in order to gain those levels, you work on what is called mastery. Mastery is both attributed to your character, shown here in the top right, as well as the gear in the top right for any of the different pieces that you have unlocked in the equipment training. So for example, I went down the plate line. You see I used it for a little bit, and then when I changed, I started using this purple equipment that I'm currently at level 34, which is the current level cap right as I'm making this video. Always make sure that your mastery is as high as it can be by farming XP or by using these XP equipment tomes that you're going to get while doing content, which will also level your character, which should also be as high as it can at all times. In addition to that, the other system for that style of progression is the tier of the character. In the very beginning, you're going to start with 0 at tier 1, right? And in order to upgrade this tier after you've created the drifter pod, after the chapter progression tells you to do so, you're going to click this button on the bottom. Make sure that this is always capped out against your research. So I can't go any higher unless I get drifter upgrade level 2. And you'll see in the research center, I can't get drifter upgrade level 2 until I get drift mark level 8. These things are time gated. So just get as high as you can and always be meeting that time gate in order to make sure that you stay competitive. That's the whole point of this, right? While you're gaining XP, the universal XP gains, let's say if I gained XP now that I am maxed out, I am going to get, sorry, let me open my inventory here. Remember how to do that. in materials, you'll see that I have what is called universal equipment experience. Universal equipment experience is something that is gained when you're wearing equipment or a drifter that is too high for it to allocate more XP, i.e., you've reached the cap. Universal equipment XP can be spent by going to your equipment training. Let's say, for example, I was wearing these pair of boots still, and I have not yet gotten them to the cap. I would hit this plus sign here. I would go to upgrade, and then I would just spend an amount of currency to level it up as much as I needed to do to reach the cap. I'm not going to waste currency here to show you. I think that this is enough for you to understand. Once you get to the cap, it will no longer let you do so, and it will say that you cannot exceed the drifter level raise on your drift master level first, which is the character that you're using. The other progression systems, other than the ones that are tied to specifically your character and your drifter that you're using, are going to be your support station, right? Which you're going to use in order to put characters in here to gain a bonus specific to the character that you're putting in there. So, for example, if you put Vesca in your support station, she would give you these support effects, right? Assigned for support station to activate. These support effects, you would gain 1.61% damage resistance in PvP, and you'd lose 1% damage bonus in PvP. So you lose a little bit of damage for a little bit of tankiness. Now that stat for that support bonus for each of the different slots scales with level and with tier. So for example, I have Mole in here for the carry weight at the moment because I don't have the character that I want to put in here. Mole is a little weird because you can't just level Mole naturally like the other ones. That's why he is lower. And to be fair, I don't care because I don't necessarily need him in there right now. He's just a placeholder. But let's say I wanted more magic resistance. What I could do for Hive Queen specifically is go to my Drifter pod. I can go either tier her up or I could level her up. I don't know why I just tried to switch to her. Hive Queen right here. So if I level her up, let's say to 30, let's do that real quick. You'll see that the bonus went up to a flat 8% from I think what it was like 7.88 when I first showed you, and now is equivalent to the amount of bonus that I get from the tier 7 level 30 Kyra for armor, right? And the negative also scales with that level. So be careful that you don't select characters for your support station that are going to gimp your build, right? Like if you're a magic damage user, probably don't put Hive Queen in your support station because you're going to lose damage and gain magic resistance to be a little bit survivable, but then you're not really doing your job. So make sure that you're tailoring your needs to be unique. Ask your guild if you have questions. They should be able to help you. And if they're not helping you, you're in the wrong warband, okay? Go to a warband that will help you. It is important. Warbands and factions in this game need to work together to succeed. Now, other than the support station, once you unlock a second set of drifter, which is something that you're going to get in the research center, which I'll go more into depth in a different video. Once you unlock your second drifter, you'll have it available to you to switch at will. Keep this relatively close to the power level of the main character that you're using. It's not necessarily a need for it to be competitive in the early game, but as you get later, having multiple lives will help. And if you die, you have the ability to revive as that second character on the battlefield in real time. Now, if you don't revive fast enough, the ability to revive will go away, so you'll have to go back to your base. But if you do revive, you'll get a little bit of a cooldown to your abilities, and there will be a bubble so that you're invulnerable for a little bit, so that you can at least reposition, so that you're not inside the enemy Zerg when you're getting killed. When you die like that, you're going to lose Drifter Endurance, right? Make sure that you're keeping your Drifter Endurance up. You can recover it here, and you can see what the Drifter Endurance does here. Info panel. I'm not going to get into this. If you want to pause and read it, go ahead. On top of that, for your second set, you'll notice that all of my gear here is blue. That's because you can't have duplicates of any kind in any of the gear slots. So if I have a Void Breaker on my my main character, right? My Draknor character here. If I wanted to equip a Void Breaker onto Aegis for my second slot, the game would not allow me because it doesn't want you to have multiple lives it wants you to like lose a little bit of that agency because you died. So there is a penalty to dying on the battlefield, which I like, if I'm being really honest. The sub progression models for seasonal and meta progression also are important, but less to a lesser degree. So, for example, Draknor, in addition to mastery, can also be battle infused. Battle infusion is something that you're going to get over the course of the season by doing content or completing things in the faction pass, which you can unlock with tokens, right? Let's see. Maybe it's not faction pass. One of the passes. In any case, you're going to get what are called battle scars in here. You can see I have some. Once you get to 5, you can battle infuse to the first level, 10 for the second level, and it gets progressively more difficult after that. I'm not really sure about the exact scaling. I can tell you what it is for level 3 as I look here. So it's 15. Eventually, you will need these crystal currencies that you can buy on the auction house, not to be confused with the trade market, the auction house. These are relatively difficult to get, but I believe that these also are kept between season, so that as you play the game for a longer period of time, eventually you will get more and more stat bonuses and for example, attribute points, which makes you stronger at a lower level in the game and has lesser of an effect later, but it gives you a reason to be playing season over season, which again, I like. The different currencies that exist other than the universal XP, which I've already gone over, are at the top here. You have Starfall, which enables you to buy gear, Exergy, which enables you to do research, faction store stuff, faction materials, metals, which allow you to buy stuff in here. Highly, highly, highly recommend that you are constantly buying your repair vouchers. They will save you money in the long term, especially if you PvP a lot. Overcharging in this game, as in using the overcharge ability, will increase your power, but you'll notice here that it does say that you lose durability when the effect ends. So if you're overcharging often, you will need to repair more often. Even if you're not losing combat or losing equipment, these repair vouchers are going to be huge for you. Make sure that you're constantly buying your Starfall and your XG, keeping up with your researches. And as you can see, you can also buy later in the season cycle. Once you get above level 35, which happens on day 7, you'll be able to buy Warborne crystal caches, which will give you one random crystal of that type that you need. Hopefully you get lucky enough so that you can progress your characters. Again, these are things that are kept season over season, so hang on to them even if you don't need them for the character that you're playing right now. Let me see. Sorry, I lost my spot here. Warband medals. Another thing that you can use in order to progress your character, in order to buy books, in order to buy the currency that you'll need to do the equipment training, these data fragments, if you find that you don't have enough, is that you can go to your Warband driftmark on the world map. Inside the Warband driftmark, there's a place on the right-hand side for you to collect a daily bonus based on the number of hubs that your Warband controls. There's a place to deposit purple exergies for you to gain faction medals and more Warband medals, which I highly recommend that you do. Definitely be turning the stuff in. Don't have it waste space in your inventory or in your stash, wasting away doing nothing when it could be benefiting you. Right next to that, there is a vendor that uses those Warband medals in order for you to buy, like I said, books, data fragments, and a slew of other things. But I would definitely take a look at that in order for you to figure out how you should be best spending your currency. Solar Bite, which is the main premium like pay to win currency that exists, can also be earned in game by selling the stuff in game to people who do already spend money. I have not spent any money on this game literally at all, right? For you to ask, oh, well, how pay to win is the game? I personally don't think that it is very pay to win at all for 2 reasons. One, everything is time gated. So even someone who is very, very, very pay to win is not very ahead of me at all. I'm at 259 power with no bonuses. The number 1 guy is 268, right? He's 10 power above me. So even if he's wailing out of his mind, he's not so far ahead that I couldn't kill him. And if he does have really nice equipment, when I do kill him, I'm going to get it. And then I can sell that equipment for Solar Bite to be able to afford my my faction pass, which I purchased with stuff that I sold in game, and the subscription, which I also purchased with stuff that I sold from in game. And it's a 30-day subscription with some substantial increases. Highly recommend that you do this. Make sure that you're selling things like your mod cores. I'll go over that in a moment. Eclipsium, I would save this stuff for only specifically when you need drifters. I think that unlocking drifters, especially in the beginning of the game, is important. And as you can see, they're a little expensive. I think that I've maybe bought 2 drifters, and I still don't have enough for a 3rd one, as the new ones are coming out a week into the game. And trust me, there are more characters that I want that I'm going to need by the end of the season in order to put not only in my support station, but as my 3rd character when I eventually unlock that slot. Veinhold and Veinhold medals are the last currency type that I'm going to talk about. If you're doing the Veinhold or the Rift style currency stuff, there are other vendors south there in the bazaar, and then the Veinhold merchant is up here at the top. Veinhold is a it's like a little mini game, I'll say, for PvP combat that can either be solo or in small teams, I think of 3. In order for you to get currency to buy the stuff that's in here. Some of this stuff, like these legendary blueprints, are going to be huge for the progression of your account. Highly recommend that you at least work towards them, because once the season rolls over and your currency goes away, you will not have the opportunity anymore. Mods, as I said before, are these slots that are connected to your gear. They do not drop when you die. They're connected specifically to the slot, for example, right? So if I don't even have a helm in here, my mod core is still there, right? It doesn't matter if I die and I lose my helmet, my mod core will not go away. Mods are used in here via the mod machine. If you have a mod core that you didn't sell and, let's say, can't be traded, produce a mod in here and it will give you a random mod core that you can use to put in your gear. If you have mod cores that you don't want, specifically blue ones are definitely going to be less desirable. 4 blues will turn into a purple. 3 purples will turn into a legendary. I highly recommend that you don't use materials. Like, for example, I could turn these into a legendary, but I won't. If you look on the middle bottom of this mod nimbleness here, you see it says perfection is 86%. That means that it's in the 86th percentile. There are only, say, 14 out of 100 outcomes that are better than this. So I don't want to get rid of this, because this is something that I may use in a future season, and I will hang on to it for now until I'm swimming in mod cores and I have a reason to get rid of them. If you get a legendary mod core that you don't want to use, let's say, for example, I thought that this one was bad, what I could do is I could salvage this mod core, and once you do salvage it, you can use it in the mod calibrator in order to re-roll the values on one of the other legendary mods. It will not re-roll the whole mod, though. You will still keep, for example, in this case, wild growth won't turn into something else. It'll stay wild growth, but it will re-roll the perfection percentage. So that may be important for you to use. In Warband, in Escape, Warband, missions. These are missions that are going to level your Warband up. It doesn't necessarily directly benefit you in that it's not like you're getting this XP, your Warband is. You will get medals for some stuff when you have when you participate in certain quests. And when your Warband level goes up, the Warband will get money and Eclipsium and things, as well as eventually it will get character slots. So the higher level that your guild is, the more people that you can invite to the guild, I think up to a cap of 200. It is important that you work on that stuff, especially in the beginning of a season. It's probably less important now that the season is a little bit in, but if you're looking to get into the game, this is something that you might want to work on. Overall, I think these are all of the systems that you have that are specifically for your character. Keep an eye on the level, planet level cap, which rolls over every day. So today the cap is 34. Tomorrow the cap will be 36, and we'll be able to get, legendary stuff up, T9 blueprints, etc. definitely make sure that you're doing your gathering. I haven't been using mole, but that doesn't mean that I haven't been gathering. Make sure that you're keeping um, your food in your bag. Make sure you're using potions as need be. Make sure that you're crafting all of these things that you can be using in order to make sure that you're most effective on the battlefield. Once you get to a certain tech level, you're going to start to carry things like rally matrices. I'll go over that stuff in the next video that I do when I'm talking about the different researches and the research path, and the larger macro progressions that exist in the game. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm trying to help as many people as I can get onboarded to the game. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel as well. Leave a comment, and if you need anything, you know where I'm at. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.